I don't know why I write. It's a really great question. I think I write to, I write in part to make sense of what I care about, and I, and also I write for the fun of this. It's like reading, but only better. Like it's making up these stories, but they kind of make themselves up. So you're in the middle of this process where these stories are unfolding, and you get to be the person, almost like the medium, to bring them out. And I love language, and I've always loved to write words, and I love sentences, and I love making up sentences. And to me, I enjoy the medium of words, and I love making things. I love, if I loved, you know, clay, to me it's equivalent. It would be like sculpting something. What great pleasure it is to like sculpt something that's interesting to look at or beautiful. So to me, I make a story. It feels a lot like a made thing, like a sculpture. So I'm driven to do it for the same reason. I want to make something that I find interesting. I'm in it for that reason. I'm not in it for the fame or, you know, such as it is. I'm not in it for the recognition, and I'm not in it for any of those reasons. I love making things, and I like making things with words. So that's why I think that's why I write. The stories arise out of the character, but where does the character come from? Where do they come from? You make them up, you sit and think about them. I'm not the type of writer that thinks about a whole lot of stuff beforehand. I don't run. There are writers who run stuff through their heads like a filter, and they work it through in their minds. But I don't work anything through in my head first. I have learned to trust the fact that it'll come out in the course of the writing. The other thing is that if I do run it through my mind, it just becomes kind of cerebral and too intellectualized. That's another part of my way of thinking. Maybe that's the old lawyer in me. So I basically just start writing, and I look and see what I've produced on the page. When I start a short story, for instance, I just look and see what kind of a line comes out, what sentence comes out as the first sentence, and I see if there's anything in there that invites a second sentence. And then I just follow what I write. It's a fairly, it's not a very conscious, directed experience. I just kind of go into a space of saying, I'm just going to write and see what I've put on the page and see what emerges, and then take a look at it and keep following it as long as I'm interested in it. Like a lot of writers, I have to just deal with the constant sense of not knowing where you're going with your book, whether it's ever going to work out. But on the other hand, I feel extremely fortunate as a person, because it's really lucky to be able to spend your life making up stories and writing fiction. And that's a very fortunate thing.